I'm going to show you my process of creating a short animated film. The story? A short about Z, a curious kid who struggles to grieve the death of their mom who passed in a fire. Z follows a ghost but ends up discovering a lot more secrets from their parents and what really happened on the night his mom died. First, you'd have to make a plot. Who are the characters? What are they like? What are the problems they faced? What makes the story interesting? Second, you design them. What do they look like? Are there any details, like a scar, that relate to their past? How does what they look like impact your audience? Then you animate. This is the big part because of how many ways there is to animate. There's 3D animation, 2D animation, stop motion animation, etc. Then you edit. This includes adding music or sound effects and putting in any voice lines. The way that people usually start to plan out their story is by using a mountain chart or storyline. They both show the main events of the story: the introduction, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. I prefer using a storyline because you can include the big events that happen before the story. And without directly telling the audience what happened before the story, it can leave a bit of mystery. By using this method, you can add details throughout the story and visualize how they affect the characters later on and show how they develop because of those events. After review planning, you script it. Scripting is like a more detailed plan for the final product. This includes dialogue, planning visuals, and generally laying out what you're gonna do. Step 2. Character design. Character design is just planning out how your characters look. But character design can actually be a big part of how your audience sees your characters. For example, if your characters look more aggressive and mean, your audience is gonna assume that they're aggressive and mean. Same with the other way around with like a nicer, happier looking character. Character design can also be used to show the development of characters or be a detail of their background. The most commonly used detail is a scar. The scars tell a story and can reveal a lot about the character, regardless if they got the scar before or during the story. Another detail used to show characters through the design is accessories. Does your character have tattoos? What do they mean? Maybe they carry around a specific piece of jewelry that's important to them. What's the connection to it? Do they have a certain clothing style? How does that relate to their story? Asking yourself questions like these when designing characters can make them more elaborate, which can make a more significant impact when trying to connect with your audience. Step 3. Animate. This is a difficult process, especially if you're doing a full animation. I only did an animatic, which has less frames per second and is only a sketch and some brief line art. Frames are the different pictures shown in an animation. Depending on how many frames per second, you'll have a smoother animation. But animation with less frames per second would be more choppy and have less fluid movement. But in an animatic, it's only the keyframes, which are the main points of motion, which would only be these 2 frames. You can already see the intended movement, but animation adds more in between. The same process is used with different kinds of animation: 2D, 3D, digital, and stop motion. It may be a difficult process with sketching, line art, coloring, and shading with everything, but you could also make your own simple flipbook animation like this. I've even made a few films of my own over the years of being an artist, and all I really needed was a paper and a pencil. Step 4. Editing. Editing can actually be a wide range of things, from editing something in a script, like cutting a scene, or changing the hair design of a character. But this part of the process is mainly used to put all the pieces of media you already gathered from animating and recording and such, and putting it all together into the film, like adding mood music or voice lines and sound effects to emphasize the emotions of the scene. Just a quick review of what I've talked about: plot, designing, animating, and editing. Although I could have done more to elaborate on the process, the complicated details would have had us here for a while. Even if you don't end up using any of this information, I just wanted to share a piece of what I like to do: storytelling. Storytelling has been a part of my life for years. Storytelling through art and through books. To get these skills, though, takes a lot of time. I mean, look at some of my first drawings. It's not the best, but over time it got better. So when I got inspired from other stories I saw or shows I liked, I learned how to storytell on my own. Maybe storytelling isn't your thing, But for those of you who would like to try it, I hope you found this helpful. Bye!